It's Tuesday, the 20th of August, 2024. Welcome to the Fast 5 Business News by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, 5 stories, 5 minutes. Let's go. Story number 1. Insurance premiums are set to rise this financial year, in large part because ageing water pipes across the country are doing greater damage to houses.
Suncorp, which owns brands Aylmer and GIO, among others, yesterday said general insurance premiums will rise by mid to high single-digit amounts. And it's the housing sector that's causing the pain. In terms of the water pipes, it's because people now have more bathrooms and fridges that dispense ice and chilled water. There's also lower quality piping being used over the past couple of decades in construction. That's hurting, as is the fact that homes nowadays are more likely to be open plan. So a leak in the kitchen quickly flows through to other rooms. Apart from ageing water pipes, houses are now being built closer together, meaning damage in one house is more likely to result in damage to the neighbours. Households are also more likely to own lithium batteries, upping the fire risk. Little bit of good news, the smash repair industry, things there are settling down. New workers via immigration and apprenticeships are keeping costs down. Same too with building material costs. But the bottom line is premiums are set to rise again, Michael.
Sean, who said insurance is boring? Does this mean that insurers are making more money?
Suncorp, at least, is making more money. After 3 tough years, its net profit rose by 12% to $1.2 billion last financial year, and it upped its dividend sharply, helping the bottom line with fewer natural disasters, falling inflation, and less pressure on global reinsurance premiums. But Suncorp's second half cash earnings missed expectations. Initially, the group's share price fell before finishing up 1.4%. Over the last 5 years, Suncorp has responded to around 700,000 claims costing more than $9 billion. Last financial year, it managed a dozen separate weather events, particularly in Queensland, though claims were a bit lower than its allowance.
Yeah, big numbers, though. All right, on to story number 2 now. Parliament is sitting in Canberra this week, Sean, and the debate over Gaza is capturing the headlines and really dominating question time.
Prime Minister Anthony Albanese accused the coalition of hypocrisy after it attacked Labor for failing to provide appropriate security vetting for Palestinian refugees fleeing war-torn Gaza to come to Australia. The vast majority of the 1,300 arrivals from Gaza have been granted visitor visas rather than refugee visas, meaning they're subject to a different level of security vetting, with some approved in less than 24 hours. During question time, the Prime Minister said the coalition had similarly granted visitor visas to arrivals from Gaza when Hamas, a listed terrorist organisation, controlled the enclave. Elsewhere, every state and territory construction division of the CFMEU will soon be in administration after the government and opposition reached a deal guaranteeing the passage of legislation through both houses this week. And the PM said the government is working to get gambling reforms right amid pressure from Labor MPs to implement a full ban on online gambling advertising.
Yeah, there's a bit going on at the moment. Now, story number 3, Westpac said its June quarter profit came in flat at $1.8 billion and said the very competitive mortgage wars have started to cool.
That's good news for the lenders, and Westpac's share price jumped more than 2%. Yesterday, Chief Executive Peter King said operating momentum was positive with decent growth in deposits and loans, but higher interest rates and cost of living pressures are taking their toll on customers. Delinquent loans rose to 1.42% from 1.36% during the quarter. Westpac's net interest margin, effectively the bank's profit margin, rose slightly, demonstrating that some of the heat has come out of the mortgage wars.
Story number 4, federal police have been called in to investigate whether Regional Express's former chairman and major investor illegally recorded the company's final board meeting amid increasingly bitter recriminations over the airline's collapse late last month.
The Australian Federal Police confirmed it had received a report of a potential crime last week. According to a report in the Financial Review, people close to the airline said the company's chair, John Sharp, had spoken to investigators. The report to the AFP alleged that Lim Kim Hwee, who was deposed as Rex's chair earlier this year and controlled more than 50% of the register until administrators at EY were called in on July 31, illegally recorded the final board meeting. Those claims come amid a serious falling out between Mr. Lim and other directors, including Mr. Sharp. Mr. Lim was removed as executive chair with little explanation in June. He later made a push to dump the company's entire board.
Last one, Sean, story number 5. There is a new money-saving trend in the US. This is extraordinary, charging your wedding guests to attend your nuptials.
You'd find out who your friends are. According to a study by the wedding planning website The Knot, The average cost of a wedding ceremony and reception in 2023 was $35,000. That's up $5,000 from a year before. Now, the Knot surveyed about 10,000 couples to get that figure, according to a story in the New York Times. The cost of being a guest has also risen quite sharply. As a result, people are starting to charge guests to attend their wedding. Now, the main problem with charging guests, according to the report, is that people don't like paying and often decide not to pay and therefore don't attend. A New York City couple have sparked a viral debate over the idea after inviting 350 people at about $450 each to attend their 12-hour wedding. They charged the guests that money. Of the 350 people, 60 turned up.
It's a very good way to cull the unwanted guests. There we go, the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Tuesday, the 20th of August, 2024. Remember to hit follow on the podcast, and if 5 minutes isn't enough, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed wherever you listen to podcasts. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.